a bit of a breather from the doldrums clouds about 6, and we're at 6, and we've got this massive cloud. The breeze is about 180 degrees different than the grips, all related to the cloud. So we're sort of set up for anything. Basically just sailing the cloud at the moment.
It's better than drifting around like yesterday. We call it jungle ball on board. Big shifts, big pressure changes, sail changes. It's just, you gotta be ready for anything. Right now we've got a 40-degree header in the last 10 seconds. So, about to furl the masthead, about to flip over.
Go furl!
This is the sort of, this is obviously bright, high cloud, but this is what we see, where we can see through it. And these are the rain clouds.
So basically 170 is course axis to the mark, right? And we're sailing against that right now by 5 degrees. Thinking 1, because this is moving this way, it keeps us in it a little longer. And 2, basically it gives us the better angle once we finally settle into the southeasterlies, or in the easterlies. And also if you look, there's a pretty distinct line like this, so you can see it in the grid better, where there's more pressure in this quadrant than here.
I think it's faster after
It's been pretty frustrating seeing everybody else sail and win that we're supposed to have, with the grip files and whatnot. But the last couple, we've done a good job of, doing the best of what we had, trying to get, very similar VMCs, but in a different way. I think when people see our wind observations in the sketch, they're a little surprised because none of them are forecasts, and we have a cloud to thank for where we are now. I think the first time this whole leg we've had a cloud help us instead of hurt us. But maybe that's a good sign, because I think that, when things aren't really straightforward, you got to ad-lib. I think that's one of our weaknesses. So I think we did the best with what we had over the past couple days, so hopefully that's a step in the right direction.
We saw amazing school session. I think it was dolphin training school, and there were some big ones showing lots of really little ones, the best form in which to exit the wave and enter the wave. They were obviously being told about this is a sailing boat with a keel, and you can play around the bow of these boats, and they were being modified on their form and provide great entertainment for us. And then obviously they've gone for a debrief session because they all just disappeared together. But I've never seen so many all together. It was quite a display. To me, dolphins mean everything's going to be okay. So for me, I think now the wind's going to fill in and we're going to get going and it's all going to be good.
Dill, myself, Sci-Fi and Tuny are on the dog watch, the sunrise watch at the moment. The sun's just coming up. It's always a pretty nice time of day. Everyone's normally pretty tired. But sort of as the sun comes up, the morale starts coming up and everyone has breakfast, a bit more talkative, and it's always nice starting a new day. So sometimes at sunrise we get really beautiful sort of reds and all different sort of stuff that you wouldn't normally see from land. Sailing along in trade winds. Unfortunately we're going upwind, but you got to pay your fun tax every now and then. The countdown's definitely begun. Everyone's sort of asking how far to go, how long to the next waypoint. I think there's even a little wager on what day we're going to get there between Wendy and Adil, so everyone's really looking forward to that first shower, the first meal, seeing family or speaking to family, and there's definitely a lot of racing to do. We're probably 2 hours behind, maybe a little bit more. We lost out a little bit the last day or two, but I think we're still in a really strong position. Everyone's keen to keep fighting right to the end, so we'll see how we go.
Day 20 today on Map Frey. We've had a real tough time since the last doldrums. Pretty much the last 4 days, we've been further east of the pack and had a lot less wind. It's really only last night and today that we kind of feel as though we're getting into the same breeze as the others. The others being ALVIMEDICA, who have sailed through to leeward of essentially sort of 20 to 50 miles below our line. We're converging courses as we come up towards this waypoint, and they've gone from sort of 50 miles south of us to sort of 10 miles in front of us. So we've really coughed up miles, and obviously coughed up a lot of miles on the leaders. Leaders have always been in more breeze, seen the Brunel extending on Dongfeng extending on Abu Dhabi, and obviously all three of them extending on us. But now, we're fully loaded. Got some wind. Got the big sails up, and trying to just keep the hammer down towards the top of Oman, basically. Still 750 miles to go until we get up there. So I think we'll have 2 days of, good sailing. 3 days maybe of good sailing, and then I imagine it will get a bit lighter and a bit tricky. With any luck, we'll see a bit of compression on the leaders. With just that last sked that's come through, we're just beginning to see the leaders slowing down a little bit now. But they've had better breeze all the time. But things will change a bit. We might be able to pull back 100 miles.
This area here is what we call the pit. It's basically the control centre for any sail adjustments that we want to make, and that could be hoisting, dropping, furling or reefing. So we've got a number of clutches here, as you can see. Most of them are halyards, a few of them are reef lines, and then the only other control that we look after is the dagger boards, lifting them up and down. If we move out to the side here, we've got some other controls for the jib in and out, and also for the tack line on the sails that we fly off the bowsprit. In terms of winches, we've got 2 small winches, one either side, which are basically have to be operated by hand, and then we've got the pit winch, which we can link into the pedestals, and we can link all 3 pedestals, and that we would use for any hoists or any big manoeuvres where we need the max power on the winch. The halyards are all on locks. That's what you see here. These are the trip lines which, when we want to drop a sail, we'd have to pull the trip line to be able to let the sail down. And the reason for having halyard locks is just to decrease the amount of compression loads in the mast. It's really important in the pit is the communication. You're the link between the front of the boat and the back of the boat, and you're trying to make sure that all the manoeuvres go smoothly and without any hiccups. The sails are obviously very heavy, and once you start winding up the loads on them, the one big issue that could happen is if the sail is not on the lock properly, and it would jump off the lock, and then the halyard would then just zoom off. So you need to be really careful with any lines that are left on the cockpit floor, that people are not standing in them. And so as a rule, when we're hoisting a sail, we always try to throw the halyard down below so that you prevent any risk of people standing in a bight of rope, and yeah, that would be an awful situation if that happened.